Welcome back to 13C. Today we're talking about the 510C Elite from Holosun. Now this one's in its flat dark earth configuration and it's in for testing from our friends at Optics Planet. Now coming up next is going to be the highly requested return of our assault bucket. If you're not familiar, it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but if you're not familiar with it, check out some of our previous videos where we've done optics testing and we'll get into some of the thought process and logic behind why we do what we do. But it's very straightforward, tongue-in-cheek, and we have a lot of fun with it, and I'm glad you guys requested it and wanted to see it back. So we're going to dive right into that, then we're going to come back, talk about the details, and then we're going to shoot some more. So we're back with the highly acclaimed 5-gallon high-capacity assault bucket that we do for some of our testing here. Remember, be very careful with these 5-gallon buckets if you have young children. More young children are killed with these buckets than they are with rifles like this. So let's dive right down into the details. Now, if you guys have seen this bucket before, you remember what we do with it. We take a perfectly good working optic that has water rating, and hopefully you can see the green dot in there, because in the camera window I can't see anything hardly. So anyway, we take it and in it goes. So while we're going through our details, we are actually going to let that soak and kind of do our live on camera test in that regard. I'm not throwing it into a big pond of water and dragging it around, do anything crazy. Just saying that for most people, you drop your optic in something, it's probably going to be a puddle or something small. Anyway, let's dive right down to the details. This is the 510C Elite. It's from Optics Planet. This particular one, I believe the FDE Elite from Holosun is an OpMod exclusive. I may be mistaken on that. We'll note that down below if that's not the case. This one has that green LED, which puts it in their Elite category, and we'll get into some of the differences of the Elite warranty-wise a little later on. 2 MOA dot. You have three different reticle options, I should say. You have a 2 MOA dot with a 65 MOA circle, which is kind of my preferred use of it, and you can also use it with the 2 MOA dot standalone or with just that 65 MOA reticle by itself. You get up to 50,000 hours of battery life on a single CR2032 battery. 25,000 hours, kind of breaking that down a little bit, 25,000 hours is going to be at setting 10 for just that dot. So you get 25,000 hours at setting 10, which is one of the higher settings. That's almost maxing it out with just the center dot. You get about 20 hours, conversely you get about 20 hours for the circle dot, 20,000 hours circle dot combination. We're going to do this one take through because I'm not redoing this water testing here. We're just going to roll through it. So I make a couple gaffes. Please bear with me. We've been doing a bunch of flashlight videos up to this. I'm glad to be back onto firearms. I'll just leave it at that. 10 daylight settings and 2 night vision settings on this. It has a solar failsafe, meaning that if there's enough ambient light, not just from the sun, but if you're inside and there's fluorescent lighting, any kind of lighting that's putting off an ambient light, it'll use that to power the optic. It has a shake wake feature, which means that if you set it down and don't touch it, it'll put itself to sleep. Now that shake wake feature has its default set to go off for 10 minutes, and then as soon as you touch it, it's going to turn itself back on and start that 10-minute clock over. You can actually change that up. I think you can get an hour, 2 hours, and 12-hour, or just disable it. So that's good to see. You can disable it if you want. I haven't had any option. I've tested this one and other, the Holosun, what is that, the 515 CU I think that we have that's on that IWI Galil Ace. We put thousands and thousands of rounds through that guy. And I've never been able to, on this one or the other one, be able to pick it up, no matter how carefully I've tried, without turning it on. No matter how gentle you try and lift it, it knows. So one thing to keep in mind if you're using this in a vehicle and you want to take advantage of that sleep option, if it's in your vehicle, no matter how you have it stored, if that vehicle's moving, that reticle will be on because it's going to sense that movement. It has a low battery indicator, so when the battery starts dying, the reticle will slowly flash on you. So using it, if you want to turn it on, you can push either the plus or minus button on the side of it. I leave mine on all the time. You just use the auto sleep feature on it. But if you want to turn it on, you push either the plus or minus button when you first get it out of the box. To turn it off, you push both buttons, plus and minus buttons on the side simultaneously. You want to change the reticle, push and hold the minus for 3 seconds, and it'll let you cycle through the 3 different reticle options. If you want to change the sleep settings, that shake awake feature that I was talking about earlier, you push and hold the plus button for 10 seconds, and then it'll confirm as it flashes, and this is all in the manual, whether you want it set at the 10 minutes, hour, 2 hours, or 12 hours, and it'll blink each time to indicate that. You can check down in the manual if you decide to pick one of these up and set it yourself. And that outer housing is a titanium alloy shock-resistant hood. The main body itself is CNC machined from T6061 T6 aluminum, and its shock rating is rated to withstand 1,000 Gs. What we're doing right now is part of the water testing. It's IPX67 rated. The IPX7 is 1 meter for half an hour underwater. The 6 portion of that would be it's impervious to dust and dirt. So the warranty on this in my manual, and I've got one of the first ones that came out here a few months ago. You've seen this in other videos, such as the Palmetto State Armory rifle we did with that Freedom Upper and nitride Freedom Upper and lower combination there. So we've been using this for quite a while now on that and on this rifle. The review on this is going to be coming out probably sometime right after this video, within the next couple weeks following it. We've got a lot of different stuff we put together here on this build, so we're going to have to cycle through all those. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to come out, but anyway, we've used it quite a bit. And the warranty that they have on the Elites is a lifetime on all the physical components, and then on the LED is a 10-year. Now, the warranty that was with this manual, and it actually said a limited lifetime warranty of 10 years on the physical components, and then 3 years on the LED. I believe that's actually a misprint. I think it is. I'm going to clarify that with Holosun, and I'll note those changes at 13cgunreviews.com. Maybe I'll throw them down in the comments below if I can remember. But the Elite from them is going to have that lifetime warranty on components, and then 10-year on the LED, which is something that's nice to see that they're stepping up that lifetime. 10 years on an LED is a pretty nice warranty there. Otherwise, we're also going to do a little bit of accuracy point of impact shift on this when it goes back on here. And God, now while I'm thinking about it, I should have thought ahead and actually put in my Ear Pro ahead of time. Anyway, while I'm putting in the Ear Pro, let's talk about this rifle real quick. The rifle itself is a Spikes Tactical SandBox builder kit that comes with the rail, the stripped lower, and then upper. We've got a bunch of components on here from Geissele. We have a Geissele SDE Trigger, supercharging handle. The buffer inside here is a Geissele buffer, as well as a marine bolt catch on the side. We have a Faxon Gunner Profile 223 Wylde barrel on here, as well as a Faxon bolt carrier group inside of here. We have some furniture from Mission Tactical on here. We have Troy SOCC backup iron sights, and I think that's, we have a CMMG lower parts kit, builder's kit, for the lower components here with the ambidextrous safety, and then Blackhawk, their new convertible QD Sling here on here as well. Anyway, let's get this optic out and see how she's doing. And we are fogged up because this water is cold. Let's clean that off, and ta-da! She's still working. Let's see if you can see that in there. I'm also going to show you from the front view, because you can actually see the LED through there if you look down into it from the right angle. So anyway, there we go. We are a little, I wouldn't say foggy on there, but we've got condensation on the outside. I don't see any condensation at all inside. This is purged, by the way, so we're getting a good test of the purging here. The outside air temperature is a good 80 degrees, maybe a little higher, maybe 85, and the, should have looked at that earlier, but the water temperature here came out of my little well, and that well is putting out the water at about 62 degrees. Anyway, we are dried off. We're going to throw this on here. This should be about where it was. Looks good to me. I have a magazine here somewhere. I know I do. There we go. My leg was on top of it. All right, let's run it. We got a piece of steel down here about 35 yards. That. Actually, wow. That cold. I probably should have washed the bucket out before I put it in here. That is some nasty, dirty stuff there. Sorry. It is just... I'm not actually wiping off the emitter. It's the glass on here that just has... there we go. Dirt and crap caked on it from inside that water. I'm going to do better next time. She still got it. All right, so we'll wind up doing some more shooting after this. I'm going to put a bipod on this and play around with a few different, some different targets that we've got in, some green actual targets. that we're going to use with this, because we've got a lot of questions on that. Let's hop back in the shooting part of the video. I think we're done here as far as sitting on the UTV with our bucket of water. Let's get back into the rest of this. So I've been experimenting with different zeros for red dots, or I guess in this case green dot, and right now I'm messing around with the 36-300 zero. So this is sighted in for 36 yards. We're going to fire a control group. We've got a target down there, actually a green circle target. We'll put 3 rounds in the top left bowl, then we'll take the optic off, put it back on, and then shoot 3 more rounds, still using the American Eagle 5.56 here. 55 grain, and see what kind of point impact shift we have. Now, Holosun doesn't bill this out as having any different sort of point impact shift, but I noticed when we took it off, we did on the Palmetto State rifle review that we did, that Freedom rifle, we took it off, we did the right-on optic for some groupings, and then we put this back on it. I noticed it held 0 pretty well, and I wasn't necessarily paying attention to it because that optic wasn't going to live on that rifle. Neither of those are, but anyway, I'm just curious, so let's find out. And this first control grouping is going to go into the top left bowl. All right, now take this off. Sure we remember, she is right there, right where I normally put most of my red dot optics. We're off. Put it back on, lock it down, click it back into place, grab our magazine, send the bolt home, and we're going to the top right. All right, there we go. Let's take a look. All right, so here we are with our control group, and here we are with our second grouping after taking it off. It looks like there may be a slight point of impact shift downward a little bit. We did get it back in the exact same location we were at. So, did we? I'm not sure now. Now that we think about it, I think we may be back 1 single slot. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back down there. I'm going to move this up 1 slot because we're actually, I think, back 1 slot. Anyway, I'm going to move it up 1 slot. Let's fire a third grouping just to see. Right, I'm going to take this off and move it one tiny little square forward, because that may have actually been where we've been, and I'm going to have to see this on the big screen when I get in, so we'll see how this works out. But anyway, we're going to shoot the middle left bowl this time, middle left. Let's go ahead and take a look. So honestly, in my mind, I am thoroughly confused. I don't know. I don't feel like going back, putting it on the big screen, trying to figure out where it was or wasn't. So what we're going to do is, this was the control group. This was here, where I may or may not put it back 1 slot off. This is where it sits now. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to fire 1 more grouping, exactly where it is here, and then we'll see how it translates to where it is here, and go from there. If nothing else, we are seeing some consistency in our grouping size with this federal ammo. That's the ammo that I normally wind up picking up from like Palmetto State Armory when they run their big holiday sales. It's that bulk pack 1,000 rounds a case stuff. Winds up normally coming in about $300 a case. Usually works out to be a pretty good deal. Anyway, commented on the target itself using these green dots. Kind of interesting shooting at the green dots as opposed to what would normally be orange or black bulls. Anyway, I'm not having any trouble picking them up and shooting them with the green dot that's in here, and I want to talk a little bit about that, the green dot on the horizon and different things. This is a very, very bright green dot at the highest settings. and it's on, I generally speaking, I just leave it on auto, and it picks up really well on the automatic setting there as far as picking up ambient light and adjusting the ambient light. You can kick it into manual mode if you want, but it seems to do pretty well. Honestly, I'm really digging the green. I didn't think I was going to dig it this much, and I almost got this in a red dot, but there's so many viewer comments wondering about it that I figured I might as well at least wet my feet in the green dot arena, because the Vortex green dot from a long time ago on that, I think it was a Strike Fire, and that was 3 or 4 years ago, kind of turned me off to green dots, but I'm glad I popped back over onto the green dot circle here, because I'm honestly kind of digging it. Anyway, let's put another grouping in here. Going to be very careful about putting it back on in the same spot and see how she does. This is the joys of doing it live, and well, I guess it's not live since we're editing on video, but at least trying to just run through everything one take. Honestly, I can't go back and do take after take. I don't have the time nor the inclination, and it's not fair to you guys either. Let's do it. All right, so we're taking it off. We know exactly where it is. It's coming off. It's coming right back on. Middle right bulb. That's what we're going to be going for. Middle right bulb. All right, so for sure, these two are in the exact same spot. The first and then the second, or technically the third and the fourth. So there you are. That gives you some idea what you can expect as far as repeatability. And while we're down here, these target sands I'm using are from shootsteel.com. They actually have the inner width on these that they're set up for now is like for standard target size. You could use tape to put these on here, staples if you want. I actually find these little binder clips work well for sliding it up and down and kind of holding it together, so I don't have to worry about staple guns or anything else. Works pretty well. And as you can see, I've used this target for other uses prior to repurposing it to hold these. If you're shooting out the center of these targets, feel free to tape another target on top of it, and that way you can get some more use out of some of these either IPSC style targets or some of the other ones. You might as well at least kind of recycle and save yourself a couple of bucks. Paper targets like this to throw on top, and it is great being back out here again after a slam-packed week with the day job, and then last weekend being completely rained out all weekend. It is great to be back out. Anyway, I'm trying to knock off some of the cobwebs. I got a carbine class coming up soon, another advanced carbine class. So I'm out here trying to knock off some of the cobwebs and get myself dialed back in as best as I can before I get to that class, so I'm not dragging down the rest of the class and lagging behind. And that's kind of what we're doing out here today with these shootsteel.com target stands and stuff. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and take a moment to subscribe. We're going to have more videos out on this setup. This is a completely custom build from the ground up, with the base being a Spike's Tactical SandBox Builder set, upper, lower, and rail. Components in here from Geissele Mission First Tactical, Faxon Bolt Carrier Group, and barrel. That's their gunner profile 223 Wylde chambering in their barrel. So you're definitely not going to want to miss some of the stuff that's coming up on this. And speaking of which, if you haven't hit the notification bell in the past 3 or 4 months, please go ahead and hit that bell, because YouTube's wiped everybody's notifications about 4 or 5 months ago. So if you haven't done it in the past 3 or 4 months, please go ahead and hit that bell again. At the end of the video, there'll be a little crest circle for 13C that should pop up here. You can click on that if you're watching on YouTube anyway, and you can hit the notifications there. And then all the links will be down below. If you don't see the links down below for certain things, it means that we can't post them here on YouTube. So go ahead and visit 13cgunreviews.com, and then you'll be able to forward on to those other links to those sites that aren't YouTube approved. If you're watching on Full 30, then of course you're going to see those links down below there in the comment description, because they aren't anti-liberty. Thanks again, everybody. Take care, stay safe. And if you're wondering about the swag, we've had a couple people comment, where can I get those patches? We have a swag shop. You can go to the website, and at the top it says 13C Swag Shop, help support 13C. We don't ask for any money from you guys right now. I know there's a lot of people who want us to do Patreon. We may wind up doing that. I haven't really necessarily felt comfortable with that. But please, if you want to support us, hit that swag shop up. You can get some unique patches and other gear you won't find anywhere else. Thanks again, everybody. Take care, stay safe. We'll talk soon.